Chapter 3. The Decline of San Lorenzo and Rise of La Venta. Despite its grandeur, San Lorenzo eventually fell into decline around 900 BCE. The reasons for this decline still remain a mystery. Some theories suggest environmental factors, such as volcanic eruptions or floods, while others point to internal unrest or conflict with neighboring groups. As San Lorenzo faded, another Olmec city emerged as the new center of power, La Venta. Located about 80 kilometers away, La Venta became the new heart of the Olmec Civilization. It was here that the most iconic artifacts of the Olmec culture were created, including the famous colossal heads and the intricate carvings known as baby-faced figures. La Venta was a vast ceremonial center, with pyramids, plazas, and a network of canals for transportation and trade. The Olmecs continued their architectural feats, constructing mounds, platforms, and stone sculptures that reflected their deep connection to the natural world and spiritual beliefs. Chapter 4. Legacy of the Olmecs. By around 400 BCE, the Olmec civilization began to decline, and their once thriving cities were abandoned. The reasons for this decline are still debated among historians and archaeologists, but one thing is clear: the influence of the Olmecs lived on. The Olmecs left a lasting legacy on Mesoamerican culture. Many of their artistic styles, religious practices, and societal structures were adopted and adapted by later civilizations, such as the Maya and the Aztecs. The concept of divine rulership, the use of calendars, and the ball game known as Pok-to-Pok all have roots in Olmec tradition. Even today, the colossal heads of the Olmecs stand as silent sentinels of a civilization that laid the foundation for the great cultures of Mesoamerica. The legacy of the Olmecs lives on in the myths, rituals, and art of their descendants, reminding us of the enduring power and influence of this ancient and enigmatic civilization. Religion was not just a part of Olmec life, it was the very essence that connected them to the divine forces that they believed permeated the world. For the Olmecs, the intersection of nature, gods, and ancestors was where they found their place in the grand scheme of existence. One of the most distinctive religious traditions of the Olmecs was the jaguar cult. Jaguars, revered for their power and fertility, were seen as the link between humans and the spirit world. Many Olmec sculptures depicted jaguars, hybrid beings that symbolized myths of transformation and divine ancestry. In addition to the jaguar cult, the Olmecs also had shaman kings, who were not only political leaders, but also spiritual guides. Through rituals, fasting, and possibly the use of hallucinogenic plants, these rulers could communicate with the gods and traverse the spiritual realm. The sacred ball game played by the Olmecs was not just a sport, but a ritual symbolizing the eternal struggle between life and death, order and chaos. The use of rubber balls in this game underscored its significance in the Olmec religious worldview. The Olmecs were also pioneers in the construction of pyramid-like structures in the Americas. These ceremonial centers were meticulously aligned with celestial events, showcasing the Olmecs' profound understanding of astronomy and their connection to the cosmic forces at play. As the Olmec civilization reached its peak, La Venta emerged as the spiritual capital. At the heart of La Venta stood a great pyramid made of clay, symbolizing the sacred mountain revered by the Olmecs as the dwelling place of the gods and the source of rain and fertility. The art and religious practices at Venta showcased the Olmecs' obsession with the balance between life and death, earth and sky. Colossal heads, altars, thrones and mosaics filled with precious materials like jade and serpentine reflected the deep spiritual significance of these symbols in Olmec culture. While much of what we know about the Olmecs comes from their ceremonial centers, fragments of daily life have given us a glimpse into their world. From thatched houses to intricate clothing and a diet based on corn, beans and other local resources, the Olmecs lived in harmony with their surroundings, guided by their profound connection to the sacred forces that shaped their existence. The Olmecs, an ancient civilization in the Americas, were pioneers in developing one of the earliest writing systems, using complex symbols carved into stone and artifacts. They also may have been the first to conceive the concept of zero and to create the Mesoamerican calendar system. Unfortunately, the great Olmec centers of San Lorenzo, La Venta, and Tres Zapotes began to decline around 400 BCE. And the reasons behind this decline remain a mystery. It is possible that environmental changes, political upheaval, invasion, or migration contributed to their downfall. Despite their decline, their culture lived on through the societies that followed, including the Zapotecs, Mayans and Aztecs, who inherited many of the Olmec traditions. The legacy of the Olmecs is vast and far-reaching. They were the first city builders of Mesoamerica, creating the foundations for urban life. They were also the masters of monumental art, as seen in their colossal heads that remain unmatched in power and mystery. Additionally, they were pioneers of religion and myth, with their gods, symbols and rituals echoing across centuries. Scholars even consider them the cultural ancestors of Mesoamerica, because so many features of later civilizations began with the Olmecs. Although the Olmecs may have disappeared as a political force, their legacy lives on. Their colossal heads in the jungles of Mexico stand as silent witnesses, reminding us of a people both ancient and eternal. Walking among these colossal heads, we can feel the same awe that their people must have felt 3,000 years ago. These were not just stones, but the faces of kings, shamans and ancestors, guardians of a world where humans and gods walked side by side. The story of the Olmecs is one of mystery. They left behind fragments, colossal heads, jade figurines, altars, and ruins swallowed by time. In these fragments we glimpse the dawn of civilization in the Americas. The Olmecs were visionaries who looked to the stars, carved mountains into pyramids, and gave shape to the spiritual world of their descendants. While the Olmecs may be gone, their spirit lives on in the myths of the Maya, the temples of the Aztecs, and the very heartbeat of Mesoamerica. Their influence can still be felt in the cultures of today, making them the forgotten giants of the Americas, whose impact and legacy continue to endure.